yes. Oh, yes, it's time. We had one show that needed to stand and deliver. Now, you must be the grandest stage of them all. You must be the granddaddy of them all. You must be grand, spectacular, marvelous. You have no room for error, no room for slip ups. You must be superb. You have to make it worth my wild and time. Give me a surprise. Give me a shock. Make me happy. Make me sad. Make me angry. Make me delighted. Make me laugh. Make me cry. By the end of this weekend, anybody who watches both nights should look like the White Lantern, because we have experienced all spectrum of emotions. You have to deliver. You have to show up. You have to be grand. You have to be WrestleMania. All right, people. Let's get into our WrestleMania 41 predictions. But as I always do, before we do that, let me know your opinions on WrestleMania in the comments. Let me know your opinion of the build. There's been a lot of opinions on WrestleMania build, and some people feeling it's the worst ever, or how lackluster it has been. Let me know how y'all feel. I'll let y'all know my opinions at the end of the video. But let's get into night one predictions. We're starting the night with the Storm, Jade Cargill, versus Proceed with Caution, Naomi. Now, this is a match to me on the WrestleMania card that has a story, has some gravitas to it. It has something that people can sink their teeth into, a story that the commentators can tell over the broadcast. With that being said, Naomi is doing some of her best, if not her best, character work of her career. I really like this heel Naomi. I think she's enjoying it. It looks as if she is enjoying it. The Proceed with Caution, not having to be so babyface. With that being said, I do have Jade Cargill pulling out this win for storyline purposes. I believe that Naomi's going to be up a lot in the match, and then Jade will sneak out a win, which will enrage Naomi even more to give us maybe, a full 3-match series, but ultimately propelling both of them. I'm really excited to see Jade Cargill on the stage, see how she performs. Naomi getting a solo WrestleMania match. So this is her first solo Mania match in a long time, maybe since the one in Orlando, I think. So I'm excited for this match. It has a story, and I'm intrigued. But I do have Jade Cargill going over. Now, let's get into the next one. One of the greatest wrestlers on this card in terms of legacy and ability, Rey Mysterio, the Hall of Famer, versus El Grande Americano. I don't know who this El Grande Americano is, but he's nice. I like him. He has skill. He catches your eye, Rey Mysterio is one of the most accomplished wrestlers in history. He's one of the greatest. He's the greatest little man, as they say. With that being said, I do have El Grande Americano sneaking out this win. It's just something about El Grande, man. It's something about him, and I think he's going to show the world why he is, quote unquote, the greatest luchador in the world. And he better win, because Chad Gable should be on this WrestleMania card. The fact that Chad Gable is not on this card is a farce. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. It's diabolical. It's heinous. It's hideous. I'm disgusted. With that being said, El Grande Americano has to win, because Chad Gable should be in this spot. I think we might get a little screwy finish. I think it's possible that El Grande and Chad Gable maybe know each other. So, it's possible maybe we'll see Chad Gable during this match and he is involved in the finish somehow. But I do have El Grande and Americano going over. Now, the first title match of the weekend. We have the megastar, yeah, L.A. Knight versus the Samoan Werewolf. Post to post, coast to coast, all gas, no brakes, off the leash. Yada I mean, Jacob Fatu. Now, I've been going back and forth with this one, and I originally had LA Knight winning with the screwy finish with Solo Sokoa costing Jacob the match, but I think they might go in a different direction. With that being said, I have Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight, no freaky, for the United States Championship, with the storyline of Solo Sokoa being upset that Jacob Fatu not only was the one to bring gold back to the new bloodline, or whatever their group is called now, and that he won solo gold. He won solo competitors gold. Is that how I want to say that? He won gold. That's how I should have said it. Before Solo did. And I believe that ultimately, with LA losing this, it's a good look for Jacob, and we can propel LA Knight to the main event scene. I think LA Knight showed that he can make the United States Championship mean something with his first title reign. He should have never lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. In my opinion, I thought that was a waste of time. Shinsuke really didn't do nothing with the belt. LA Knight was making the belt feel important with the open challenges and just with his charisma. I really am a fan of both of these guys, and the story isn't too thick, it isn't too layered. But with these two guys and a title match being involved, I'm there for it. So I have Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight, becoming the new United States champion. All right, let's move into probably, I would say, the match I probably am least excited for. The World Tag Team Championships. The War Raiders will be defending their belts against the New Day. And it's not necessarily the teams, because both teams are good and are good tag team wrestlers. It's more so that it's just kind of thrown together. I think if the New Day's heel turn was treated better, I would care more. I think they would have more heat. I feel like WWE didn't capitalize on the heat that they got from the heel turn. So this match doesn't have all the layers and all the heat and all the intrigue that it could and should have. With that being said, I think the War Raiders are dope. The New Day have been doing this for years. So on paper, we should get a solid match. I think we're going to get a good match out of this. You give them 10, 15 minutes. They can give us something, give us some spots. Because I think this is the War Raiders' first time on Mania. So I think they're going to try to show up and show out. With that being said, I have one of our first shockers of the weekend. I have the War Raiders retaining, but with the help of Big E, I think Big E will make some type of return, some surprise, and cost New Day the belts. Maybe even take a bump, which could be an inkling to the fact that he possibly could return to in-ring. But I think Big E needs some type of get back. And you can also make the New Day even more heels and get more heat on them, because the next Monday Night Raw, they could just go on a rampage, start beating people up, just getting upset and getting that heat back that they once had when they kicked Big E out the first time. But I have Big E coming out, surprise, costing New Day their title shot, and I have the War Raiders retaining. Now, let's move on to a match that I was interested in and had intrigue in even before it got catty, before it got all messy and dramatic. The Women's Championship match. Tiffany Stratton will be defending her belt against Charlotte Flair. Now, for me, on paper, again, I think these two can really have a good match. And then you add in the element of everything that's been happening over these past couple of weeks with the personal shots. I think if you allow them to do a little shoot fighting, and really just kind of like blur the lines, it doesn't have to be a technical masterpiece. I think we can have a 50-50 match. 50 of it be technical, 50 of it be a brawl. And I think ultimately I have Tiffany Stratton retaining this. This might be a little more of an emotional pick because I'm a fan of Tiffany Stratton. I think she has a bright future. I think she's talented. But this title reign did show that her promo and her storytelling needs work and build. With that being said, I can see Charlotte Flair winning because one, she's one of, if not the greatest women's wrestler ever when it comes to ability and resume. And also, there's a story that can be told if Charlotte does beat Tiffany. You can have the story of Tiffany still being young, still needing to grow, and you can have this character arc where she goes through maybe the Queen of the Ring tournament, maybe wins a tournament, something like that. And at SummerSlam, she gets her get back and beat Charlotte. But I'm not mad if Tiffany just wins. My bad. I'm not mad if Tiffany wins because you can still have a program after that. You can have Charlotte be like it was a fluke, you got lucky. So there's different ways you can go with it. So I wouldn't be completely upset if Charlotte wins as long as they do a good character arc and character development with Tiffany Stratton. With that being said, I do have Tiffany retaining her belt. All right, the World Heavyweight Championship. The Ring General. The King of the Ring. But they never mention that. Gunther versus the Yeet Man, the Yeet Master. Main event, Jey Uso, who's not in the main event. This one's pretty cut and dry. Jey Uso, he's over with the crowd. He's probably top 3 when it comes to pop and just fan reaction and fan connection in the company. He sells merch, and it's a WrestleMania moment. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, I can see them putting Jey Uso with the World Championship, yeeting with 60,000 people, however many people are going to be there, putting that in promo packages for years to come. And that's what WrestleMania is about. It's about moments. And Jey Uso winning is a moment. Now, like I said in the beginning in my promo, I am here for shock. I am here for, twists and turns. So, if Gunther wins, I wouldn't be upset because personally, I know Gunther is not everybody's flavor, but for me, I enjoy Gunther. I think he's a good heel, cuts a good promo, he's good in the ring. He's a product of a bygone era. You know, I said that really fast. He's a product of a bygone era. His style is old school, but yet he can have flares and flashiness of different things. You know, with the little drop kick that he does, with the top rope splash, with his submissions. To me, again, he's an acquired taste, but that's what wrestling is, man. Everybody's not supposed to like everybody. It's like watching basketball. Everybody doesn't like everybody's style of play. Some people don't like LeBron's style of play. Some people don't like Steph's style of play. Some people don't like KD's style of play. So it's all in flavoring what you like. But for me, I'm a fan of Gunther, and I'm also a fan of Jey Uso. The Usos is my favorite and to me the greatest tag team of all time. I remember when Jey Uso debuted with the face paint, with Jimmy on his side, with Tamina, with the bright colored shorts. I remember when they switched their entrance to do the "Hey boy, side boy." I remember all of that to when they went to all black and the Uso Penitentiary, to the Bloodline, to the title reign that they had. Just I love the Usos. So I love seeing Jey Uso in this position. With that being said, I have Jey Uso beating Gunther and becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. And the main event of night 1, we have the triple threat. We have the revolutionary, the visionary, once named the Messiah, once named the architect, Seth freaking Rollins, versus Second City Saint, the best in the world, CM Punk, versus God Mode, Levels Above, Needle Mover, Cash Cow, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Now, I will say, when this match was first looking like it was going to be a thing, I was excited for it. I didn't know how they were going to make it work, but I was excited because of the names. I grew up on all of these guys, so seeing them face each other is really a dream come true. And the build of it, I was like, oh, okay, it's not that great, but these 3 guys are enough. And then the favor came, and I wasn't a fan of the favor, but how they have been executing the favor and how they have been toying with Seth Rollins being in Roman's ear about Paul Heyman's unloyalty, Paul Heyman being torn, Paul Heyman still wanting to be loyal to his tribal chief, but wanting to pay his favor to his friend. It's funny to me that they're fighting over Paul Heyman, considering all of them are married. But I guess Paul Heyman just he's just special, I guess. But Paul Heyman is one of, if not the greatest manager ever. He just gets it. He plays his role to a T. With that being said, I'm very intrigued with this match because I think there will be a lot of story told within the match and a lot of story told with the finish and what happens after. Um, I think this is a great way to end the night. I know a lot of people are upset that the world title isn't main eventing the show, and I understand that. It's WrestleMania. It's the biggest card of the year. I think that your world title should main event. Excuse me. I hope that your world title should main event. With that being said, there are instances where you got to do what's better for business. And Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk is what's best for business. It's a marquee. You could put that on the marquee. That sells. That goes beyond wrestling. That slides into mainstream. It does. Uh, Roman Reigns is mainstream. CM Punk with his history and going to MMA and doing all those things, that it slides into mainstream. Seth Rollins with his attire and his persona, that's intriguing to casuals and mainstream. So this is the marquee match for night one. This is the main event for night one. I do think that Jey Uso versus Gunther is going to open the show. I think just to give the crowd that energy and that pop, and you're gonna get probably the most energy out of the crowd in that first match. They always have energy for that first match because it's the first one of a 3-4 hour show. So that is my predictions for WrestleMania Night 1. I have Jade beating Naomi. I have El Grande beating Rey Mysterio. I have Jacob Fatu becoming the new United States champion. I have the War Raiders defeating New Day. I have Tiffany Stratton keeping her belt. I have Jey Uso becoming the new world champion. And I have Seth Rollins. I just thought about it. I didn't even say who I had. I have Seth Rollins winning this triple threat. I think Seth Rollins has been playing his role well, because it's kind of been an afterthought. He's been throwing these things in about what's best for business, and we don't want the business to go in the way of Roman, who's a part-timer. We don't want the business to go in the way of CM Punk, who leaves and trashes the company, trashes the business, and then comes back when it's hot and convenient. I think Seth Rollins is really playing his role very well. I think he's playing his character well. And I think that him winning leads to more stories. It leads to more elements. I think it leads to something epic. Maybe with The Rock, maybe with Cena, maybe with Paul Heyman. You know, but I do think this. I think Paul Heyman will leave with no one. I think we might find out more about Paul Heyman on night 2, concerning that main event. But we'll get to that. But I do have Seth Rollins sneaking out this win. I think Roman and Punk will be too involved with each other, and it will ultimately cost them the match. I have the revolutionary, the visionary Seth Rollins winning. That is my WrestleMania predictions for night 1. Let's get into night 2.